Okay, this is part 3 of the DIY over fender install. Right, so last time we did the kind of prep for the over fender install. All the fiberglass resin is on there, as you have seen. It's ready to go, it's hardened. What we need to do next is kind of prepare the surface again for the fiberglass. Before, I've used masking tape to tape over the surface that I'm fiberglassing onto. That's fine, but it's quite porous, as you can imagine, so it's not ideal. Now, I'm going to use aluminium foil tape instead. This is waterproof, very, very thin, so this should be good. So I'm going to cover the surface in this first. That gives us like a release. Then I'll put the fiberglass over that, and then once it's cured, we can pull it off, which is very exciting. I've been waiting to do this for like a week now, so it should be great, should work, fingers crossed. So let's put this stuff on and then start fiberglassing. You can see behind me now, all that is taped up. Being kind of aluminium tape, it's added some rigidity to it, so it's actually fairly solid, which is perfect, which is what I want. Also, I wanted, you know, a nice release surface. Now, fiberglass matting. So I'm going to put 2 sheets or 2 layers of fiberglass matting on there. What you want to do is not go too thick with the fiberglass matting. Now you get different weights, GSMs of fiberglass matting. The higher the number, the thicker it is. We're going for 300 right now, so what that means is if it's a thinner matting, it's easier to put on wet and to kind of like conform to shapes. If it's thick, they can tend to kind of pucker up and it's difficult. It takes a lot longer for the resin to soak through the material. So we don't want that, so we're going to do 2 layers of 300 GSM combined with the resin. Obviously it's going to be fairly thick. That should be enough. If not, I can add another layer on there. It's absolutely fine. What we want to do is get like that first layer on there and the second one there, then we've got a shell, and it's really, really tough. Actual shape even, it'll be really super tough, solid, and we can pull it off. So let's get it all set up and stuck on. What we're going to do first is mix up the resin and probably put a little bit on the form there, just so when we lay the fiberglass matting on there, it sticks to it, because otherwise it's going to slide off. And when you're kind of like trying to put the resin on and it's sliding out, it's a nightmare. So if we put the resin on that bit first, just to kind of like help it stick, yeah, it should work. So I'm going to put a bit of resin on that and then start sticking that stuff on there. And then we wait. Right, all the resin's on there now. It's a bit of a mad dash. I didn't think I was going to have enough resin. It was really, really close, really close. So yeah, the whole thing is wetted up. 2 layers of 300 GSM fiberglass. So that's going to be more than enough and strong enough for me to pull that off once that's dried. And then I've got my shape. You can already see how good that's looking. It's working out pretty nicely. So yeah, all I've got to do now is wait for that to dry. So all right, yeah, that's off. They've got the first layer, first shell. Yeah, it was pretty easy to get off. This stuff really helped, and this is not even really tacky. I should have gone a little bit further over here because it really stuck to that like I thought it would. Everything else is totally fine. So obviously what we do now is just take all of that off, and then we can kind of offer this up to the wind and see how it looks. Obviously it needs to be trimmed. Now I would normally trim it with my Dremel, but it decided to break and I got angry and I decided to disassemble it to try and fix it, which I did before. And in the process I broke it even more. So yeah, can't really afford to get another one, but I'm gonna have to because I can't do anything without it. It might be thin enough to cut with a knife. I doubt it, but it's not gonna be that accurate, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's just take all that stuff off the wing and kind of put the new wing over the top and see what it looks like. Right, I've done some very rough trimming. Like I said, my Dremel broke, so I improvised and did a very slow cutting version. I put the end on my drill, which was extremely painful and slow and not very accurate, but it's alright because this is just kind of like the first cutting stage, so it's not too important. What I am going to do is put another layer of glass over that. It's a good thickness, but it could be, I want to go twice the thickness of that, I think, just so it's not as flimsy, because I want something that's got a bit more strength to it. So probably another couple of layers of that 300 GSM, or I think I have got some 600 laying around. Anyway, big reveal. There you go. That's what it's looking like. So obviously I've just taped it on. I've cut that roughly at the moment. It's not where it's going to be in terms of the final product, in terms of shape, but you get the idea. It's pretty close. So the main shape is there, which I'm really happy about. What I'm going to do is trim. There's a swage line here I want to work along there and yeah, take that line and go straight across there, chop that off. Down the bottom here I'm going to do a piece that goes from here down to the very bottom. I think I want to leave this open because I like that, that's cool. That line works with that line there, which is cool. Need to trim and shape that up properly because it was difficult. I'm probably going to angle this a little bit more here. The front I need to glass up a little bit more because I had the clamp in here and I couldn't actually glass behind it, so that was a real pain to do. So I need to trim off some of this here as well, but as a whole, yeah, there you go. Wide body over fender DIY. That's how we do it. Okay, so I've gone pretty much as far as I can go this week anyway. Plus I've run out of resin, which doesn't really help, but the majority of it is done. What I wanted to do is done and it's worked, and I'm really happy about it. Despite my lack of enthusiasm, I am really excited about it. It's frustrating that I haven't got enough resin, and it's frustrating that my Dremel's broke as well because I can't shape it the way I want to as quickly as I want to, which is really annoying. But the main shape is done, so that's the thing that I was kind of worried about, and that's the thing that's been plaguing me for months, well, not months, for weeks. So it's all good. So I know that works, and it works really well. So it's just a case of kind of trimming, well, fiberglassing another layer on first, and filling, trimming, all that stuff, getting the shape right, getting the position right. But I'll show you what I've got so far, which I hope you guys like. Okay, so this is the back, obviously. You can see the body lines matching up there. Obviously it's not fixed at the bottom, so we've got to work out something that goes all the way to the bottom there. That's going to be pretty straightforward to do. Shape wise, it's nice and boxy on the flat there, and then obviously it's got a nice curve on the top. Like I said, I'm going to trim all of this up properly once I get one final layer on there, and then obviously do the end. I couldn't get the fiberglass round on the end because of the clamp. I couldn't take the clamp off. You can see there's a tape line under here. Now this is the swage line, kind of the hard body line. I'm going to cut all along here there to make it nice and straight, obviously nice and neat. I've roughly done the curve to match the body line there. Might trim a little bit more off that. I'm not sure what to do with this angle here yet. We'll see. I might play around with that. So yeah, another layer of resin, another layer of fiberglass even, go over that, and then I'll put a skim of fiberglass filler over that because it has got some waves in it naturally. It's not perfect. It's always going to be slightly wavy, but it's not a big deal. Fiberglass filler is super easy to work with, so we'll put some on there and then blast over it with the DA, and then we can start filling it and priming it up. But yeah, it's all good. So obviously I need to replicate that on the other side. I've got my form there, so I'll just switch all these fixings out to the other side. I'm going to probably wet this a little bit and then put some weight on it to make it flat so it doesn't have some kind of crazy angle on the other side. That'll be all good, and then we'll start working on the rears. So yeah, I mean, one down, one halfway down, and 3 more to go. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. It's been pretty rewarding. So one of the main things I want from this channel is to inspire other people to do stuff like this themselves. It's pretty straightforward. It just takes a bit of time and planning. I'm one of those people that does things kind of on the fly. I kind of learn by doing. It's the best way for me. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. There's more to come still, obviously. And if you fancy doing it yourself, then yeah, go for it. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description for all the bits and pieces I've used. It's pretty straightforward stuff anyway. Pretty simple stuff. but I'll just put a little list in there of tools and materials that you'll need. Pretty straightforward, like I said. But yeah, that'll be it for this episode, and I'll see you guys real soon for more progress. Take care.
Subscribe, you fools.